Welcome back to the Fever, everybody, for this week's film session. And today we are at the home of the Plainsmen, Monterey High School, and Coach Todd Pearson has been nice enough to join us here. Coach, thanks for joining us in. Appreciate you letting us come in and study a little film today.
Appreciate it, Thanks for coming in.
Monterey Plainsmen 0-3, but very close. Have had two tough losses, including this last week against Friendship and the first week against Hereford. Coach, we talked about it after the game. I mean, you guys are just this close right now.
No, we're just getting to the point where I think we can be even more than competitive and go ahead and get a few wins. We're just, we talked about 5 points away from being 2-1, and that's not the case. So we've got to find a way to go ahead and get those wins and get that extra point and get those extra 4 points and go ahead and win, get some victories on the board. Yeah,
the victory didn't come, but this last week maybe the most complete game for you guys. The offense played well, continued its strong play at the beginning of the season, and the defense really kind of stepped up this last week.
We've talked about, and I've mentioned a lot about consistency in our offense and moving the football. And I think our offense did that on Friday night, and I think in turn that helps your defense. So, when it's one of those I scratch your back, you scratch mine type of thing, and we'll move on. And that's the way football is, and you've got to make sure that you help each other out in the process. Yeah.
Well, if you haven't seen Monterey in the last couple of years, you know that one thing is they've gone away from the traditional wishbone that they used to run, and they've gone more to the spread option, and they're really kind of getting into a good flow with it. And this play is really going to show. This is the first play of the game, first play of the season against Hereford right here, and you're going to see Thomas Walker bust loose on a big run. Coach, talk about how you guys operate this spread option and what really got Thomas loose for this touchdown here.
Well, first of all, most of it is Thomas and then the blocking of the offensive line. Now, we don't always block that correctly, as everybody knows about football. But a running back like Thomas doesn't need a whole lot of room to get it moving on. And we, obviously we can do it out of several formations. It's just a staple of our offense, and it's probably the staple of most football offenses that run the one back. They usually use maybe a guard and a tackle to do it. We use some different people to do the same thing and just get the same effect. So it's just a block down kick out scheme that a lot of people call the GT, and we just use different people to run it. And in this particular formation with Thomas, we'll go ahead and look at this real quick. But as you see that our linemen have assignments to blocking down, and then we use our fullback in our offense as our kick-out man, which most teams use a guard, but we use a running back. Yeah. And then our tackle is no different than their tackle. And what we do is we just try to get the defense to overreact a little bit and then just hit a quick seam on them. And then if we can get past the front line, I think we've got a chance. And you can see Thomas does get through there pretty good. Now, our blocking wasn't perfect here, and I don't think we've ever run it where it's exactly perfect. Yeah. But, you never know how the defense is going to align. You never know how they're going to move, and you can see that we're playing Hereford here. And they're moving well, and they're reacting to our movement on the front, and it just so happens that Thomas just hits it real quick, and we have just a slight crease in the middle of the football field right here. And the key block here was Oscar Douglas on the linebacker to keep him from scraping over the top. And then after that, it's just see if the safeties can catch him. And in this case, they weren't able to.
Now, one thing I noticed about this is you kind of mentioned a little bit, this almost has a little bit of a counter feel to it. And plus, the safeties kind of run into each other and kind of take each other out of the play on that.
Well, a good thing about this, some of the spread stuff you've got, and you'll see teams do it. Most teams that you'll see do this, but they usually use their guard and their tackle on the GT scheme, which we have as well. We just have different ways to run the same play at a different formation. So what they're looking at, it depends on what these guys are reading as far as their key, and you can see that they do get crossed up a little bit. And the key is we want them to overreact, and then we want to hit it back on them and see if we can go from there. But the number one thing is the linemen have to know who they're blocking. The guard and the fullback have to know exactly what they're doing, and you'll see Friendship has this exact same play from their I package. Right. I mean, it's just a staple of a lot of offenses that they run, and I thought we did a good job on this particular play, and it got us off to a quick early lead against Hereford.
Got off to a big play and a big start. And, like I said, not the best start for Monterey, but if they keep running this offense like they've been running and keep doing a good job in it, the victories are going to come soon. Coach, we appreciate you letting us in this week.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming by.
Thanks. When we come back, we'll have this week's games, and I'll have my picks right here on the Fever.